This is the Geekwave. I'm Decree.
I'm the Niche Wanderer.
And I'm Kimmy.
Yeah, that works.
This is the Geekwave. All right.
You guys are like Decree and the Douche Wonder is like Kimmy. Like I can say it.
You can use it this time.
Follow her on Twitter. She has one.
Real.
For
It's a
Kim
thing.
Kiwi.
Ooh. Why don't
Two
we put
eyes.
all of our Twitters in the description?
I can definitely
You
do
can look
that.
up everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. So today's topic, I think, we are going to be discussing. So we're going to
It is
discuss
disgusting.
mud.
It is
It
a
is
little
disgusting.
disgusting. Yeah.
It is.
Tell us
okay.
our topic.
All right.
Our disgusting,
So we're
disgusting
discussing Steam Greenlight being killed off and Steam Direct coming to replace it. So for those of you who don't know, Greenlight was killed on the 6th of this month, and Steam Direct is going to be started, but by the time you watch this, it will have started on the 13th of June, so this month.
Way to date this video.
You're welcome. I mean, it's already dated if we're talking
Yeah,
about Steam Direct.
That's
A lot of our
yeah.
topics are like all kind of dated.
That's because
of
the way we set up recording this week,
Uh-huh.
this semester. It just we have a lot of time between production and publish.
That's fine though. That's
But
fine. So we can work in the summer, you know.
yeah, I've been following a few subreddits for video games for a long time. One of which is our indie games. And they seem to have mixed feelings about Steam Greenlight being replaced with Steam Direct. But after they announced that... okay, let me explain the process first. Steam Greenlight, you would pay a one-time fee of $100, and you could put to Greenlight as many games as you wanted without any consequence, without any other fees, anything like that. So you could just upload as many games as you wanted. With Steam Direct... that is different. You pay $100 for each game that you want to put on Steam. Now the
Any
other
game can go
difference,
Yeah.
yeah, the other difference is Greenlight. You would have to be voted on. So it's almost like Lost or Survivor, where you vote somebody off the island, except for you're voting people onto the island, and maybe 10 people in 100 or 200 games. Very few people would get on, but you'd have to go through this voting process to see if enough people were interested in your game to allow it on Steam.
Hence
Now, with Steam Direct, your game goes directly onto Steam.
Ugh.
And people can buy it straight on the thing. So like,
Yes.
as me and Kyler were talking back and forth and stuff, it's like someone could literally take a like Angry Birds app or something even worse than that.
Yeah, that's
and
what you
put it on
Yeah.
Steam and then sell.
You
Well,
saw
those
that
are the
on
things you
Greenlight a
see,
lot.
yeah.
Crappy
You
mobile
see-
ports that they are not good for PC. Some
Yeah.
are. I see one that's like an Infinite Runner that looks really beautiful that's being ported from iOS and Android over to PC. But for the most part, mobile games do not look good, and they don't belong on a PC format.
Yeah.
Just because the design is vastly different than what you would want on a PC.
Yeah, as the level goes and stuff, there's like console plebs, PC master race, and then you have mobile games like over here in the corner,
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying to go like, oh well, let's just elevate this to master race status for no good reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
It's like most mobile games are designed for a one-button tap,
Yeah.
and it's like, what are you going to do, just assign that to the mouse? That's not fun. That's not
No.
interesting.
Yeah.
It's not engaging enough to me on a computer to
it's
use
not
just
even
one
engaging
button.
enough to me on a cell phone.
Well, like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want, like, Fruit Ninja on my PC and I use my mouse to swipe around to
See,
try and get the fruit.
that's
That just
where-
sounds awful.
I've had because like my laptop is a 2-in-1, and so
Uh-huh.
it flips into a tablet type thing. Fruit Ninja on that was fun, but
Ooh.
you know, if you're playing games, you're probably on a desktop, and it probably doesn't have a touch screen. And there are all sorts of things wrong with trying to switch the touch mechanics over to like a mouse or a keyboard or
Yeah.
even a joystick. Like it just doesn't
Yeah.
work.
So, one of the reasons they wanted to switch away from Greenlight, and which mostly everybody can agree on, is there were a lot of crappy games that were put onto Greenlight, and consequentially also got onto Steam, and the quality control everybody felt was just subpar. And you would see these companies who would take one game format, switch out assets, and re-upload it, and do that, and just upload hundreds of games at once to try and get them onto Steam. And hopefully the $100 per game with Steam Direct will help fix that, but at the same time,
I feel like
they can still get it directly onto Steam, rather than have everybody who are fans of Steam filter it out. So I think, as far as trying to solve that issue, it might go a ways, because even if they spend $100 to get it onto Steam, maybe they won't sell that many copies. Plus, the $100 fee for Steam Direct is refundable once your game hits $1,000 in sales. So you can get that money back if it sells nice. But
so once Steam makes enough money, they go like, okay, you've made us quite a bit of money. Here's your 100 submission back. And that's a fairly decent system, because that way and stuff, if big companies are coming in and going like, okay, this is a really good game, I'm going to pay $100, and then it does well and they get $100 back, that's just all profit. But when it comes down to like indie studios and stuff, where like putting $100 just to get it in there is basically putting them in the hole, and they're probably not going to sell a whole lot, or they're putting $100 in order to give the game away for free.
See, that's a lot of people are saying $100 is nice because people in poorer countries will be able to afford it still, and people who are working on a game individually by themselves will be able to afford it. However, I think the problem isn't with the people who are poor. I think it's the problem with the people who aren't poor, that are willing to spend $100, which is almost nothing, to get their really, really shitty game on Steam. And I think we're going to see a lot worse games on Steam and just see the quality drop off. Because we've already been seeing that happen over the past couple of years. Because it used to be this huge thing. Oh my gosh, I just got published on Steam. Like, this is amazing. I'm going to, sell a lot of copies. A bunch of people are going to see it. It's going to be great. Nowadays, you put your game on Steam, nobody even knows it exists. It's not an achievement anymore. I mean, I'm sure it still is on some level, but it's almost like posting on GameJolt or itch.io, except for it's $100 more. But you're still not going to do very well if it's a bad game. So I think one of the issues we're going to run into is there's going to be a lot of proud parents out there that's like, oh my gosh, my 8-year-old made a game and he says I can pay $100 to put it on Steam. I'm totally going to do it because $100 is nothing. $100 is nothing.
$100 in order to get the happiness of an 8-year-old who ended up making a Pong simulator.
Not even that good though. Like, it's gonna be. I think we're gonna see some pretty bad games because there's almost no quality control to it, and I don't know what Steam's planning on doing if they do want to filter it out themselves.
I feel like they've got to have some kind of process rather than just a fee.
But so far they haven't said anything.
They're gonna have so much garbage. That's as much as they would like to think that their community is nothing but, indie developers and people with actual skills. There is going to be some little 5th grader that makes a scratch project and wants to put it on Steam.
And I think I don't know how it's going to go. I guess we do kind of have to wait and see what happens, but I do feel like there's going to be a lot of bad games. And initially when they announced it, they're like, it's probably going to be somewhere between $100 and $2,000. And people were just like, oh my gosh, that's going to be insane.
That's a little bit of a jump.
And they literally hit the bottom of the scale on that. And I personally think somewhere to the $300 to $500 range would be a lot better. And that's something I, as a college student, am still willing to pay, and I can afford, but it helps weed out some of those really crappy lower end games.
I feel like maybe that's something that it's a trial thing. So if maybe that's how they're gonna filter it. If they have a whole bunch of people just throwing their garbage up on there with $100, raise that price.
Then it's gonna hurt people who are like, oh, it's only gonna be $100, and then it gets raised right before they published, and because they waited a little while, they get screwed out of a couple $100 more when everybody else didn't.
It sounds like insignificant, but when you're a game developer and you have that budget and I could use this extra $100 in the assets store, and then it's gone.
There you go. But I feel like if you're not confident enough with your game that it will sell $300 to $500 worth of copies, which is a small number compared to how many people play games, especially indie games. It's a small number of copies you'd have to sell. If you're not confident you're not going to sell that many, your game probably shouldn't be on Steam, because it's probably not that great if you're not going to be confident enough to sell 100 copies of it.
Yeah.
So
Unless, of course, you end up turning like No Man's Sky, in which case...
Yeah. So, well, I know a lot of people are conflicted about it. A lot of people think it's good. A lot of people think it's bad. I'm just one of those that I'm really hesitant towards it because I want to like it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I'm not sure how it's going to work.
I don't know.
That's the one thing that I keep
yeah.
going back to is how is it actually going to work? Because, it sounds like it's going to be an easier process, which at the same time is a good thing and also a bad thing, you know. But it sounds almost like it was a spur of the moment decision.
Right? They had so much time between announcement though and release because it's coming out soon. They just killed Greenlight, which is surprising in itself because Greenlight's still on Steam and they killed it on the 6th. And while you can't upload any more games, you also can't vote on the ones that were uploaded on the 5th. Which means if you spent the money to do it on the 5th, you probably want to go and ask for a refund. I did see somebody say, though, that as soon as they requested one, they responded and they refunded their Greenlight fees. So if you spent money on Greenlight, go out and request a refund because they will probably give it to you. So
my biggest question, though, as far as this comes from a EAE student, is the major program was basically built around Steam Greenlight. You had to make a game that was good enough to get voted, and that's how you graduated.
And now
how are they going to do it now?
Now you make a game and pay $100, and there you go.
Here's your master's degree.
Good job. You had $100 to spend. That's a really good question because I'm wondering, are they just going to get it on Steam and do a full release for it?
I also feel like, but the EAE program has a big enough presence that they could go public with our games, and they could ask for opinions. And would you
so then just crowd grading?
So that's essentially what Greenlight was.
That would be interesting because I know a lot of games that were greenlit on Steam don't have that creative reviews. Yeah. And one comes to mind, but I'm not gonna name it because I'm not a jerk. I still enjoyed the game, but there's a lot of things wrong with it. But I mean that's what happens when you have so little time to work on it. And you're still a student. But technically.
Still a learning experience.
Hey, look at Snowplow. Snowplow was great.
That's where I'm wondering, are they going to do the Steam anyway? Are they going to just ask the community, hey, would you say these guys deserve their degree? Or are they going to try to create this new structure of grading and grade it themselves? Like get a few volunteers to do grading for all of the
My guess is that they're going to have to because if they want to retain their #1 seat as a game program, they're going to have to come up with some way to make it to where whatever grade they're given means that they are ready for the industry. That's why it was so great to do Steam Greenlight, is because basically if you got passed, you were on the same level as the professionals that were doing it, and other professional studios that were trying to hire you would say, oh, these guys got a game greenlit on Steam. This means something.
Exactly.
Is it going to be the same thing if they get a grade from professors and then go to the industry and say, yo, these guys that have been in the industry for 20 years or so and taught me everything and stuff think that I did a pretty damn good job. You should hire me based on these guys say.
So this
doesn't have the same impact.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Question. Is there, do you think that there's going to be another company that's going to say, well, you guys were really stupid for stopping Greenlight and starting some kind of company with the same outlook, doing the same kind of thing? That's
kind of what I want because I want a platform that it's I can be proud to say that I put my game on it. Yeah. I can't, with Direct, I am probably one of the few, but I don't feel like I can, be proud and be like, my game is on Steam when everybody and their 5-year-old has a game on Steam, It's it doesn't have the same feeling. It doesn't feel special anymore. Yeah. And I think, I don't know, I hope something pops up that does actually regulate thoroughly what games go on its platform. Yeah, because that's what I loved about Steam, is you could go across it and no matter the game, you'd know that it had some quality to it. There was, even if it played terribly and you hated it and it was glitchy and buggy, it still had some effort, some really solid effort, and some good graphics and some good, ideas and stuff. You knew that it was good in some way.
You knew that someone put blood, sweat, and tears into that video game.
Yeah.
And
And they put together a marketing plan and a production push and just like all sorts of things. And now it's just like, I had $100. Yay! I have problems with it. I have so many problems with it, but it might turn out to be okay. But I have so many problems with it.
This is one of the situations to where if you end up eating your words, they will taste wonderful.
Yeah, I want to be wrong here. I want to, but I don't know if I will be.
Your developer sense is saying this is not going to turn out well.
Yeah.
Just think though. What if the grading scale goes to put it on Kickstarter and have enough people
No, if you get crowdfunded, you have to crowdfund a video game. Oh. That would kill the program. Though.
Here's kind of where I like that. Not in the sense that you don't want to mess with money when it's just students and there's a bunch of them involved and it gets really messy with business.
Yeah.
So that's a problem immediately. However, I do like the reason I liked Greenlight for the EAE program is you had to put together a production plan and a marketing plan. Yeah. So you had to figure out how you were going to market your games and do a publicity push for it to get greenlit. That was part of your process. And it showed that you knew what you were doing and you could carry a game from inception to publishing
and delivery.
See,
but with Direct, you don't need to do marketing. You don't need to show everybody your game. You don't have to think about that.
Marketing
you just make the game and throw it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
that's so weird. That's so weird. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of updates to this new Direct thing that they've got going because there's a lot of holes. I feel here in this.
I agree.
And I think they're going to be exploited a lot by people. People that have wanted to be on Greenlit for forever and have never been Greenlit.
And I feel bad because a lot of people say, if you have your friend who's a developer and he's really excited about this game and you look at it and it's terrible, don't be like, oh, that's awesome, good job. If they're serious about making games, that is. If they're making it casually, don't bother insulting the game. But if he is looking to do this as a living,
you need to tell them.
You need to tell them what they're doing wrong and how they can fix it. You need to give that constructive criticism. Otherwise, they're going to just flop by themselves. And that's what could happen with Greenlight. I feel like too many people are encouraged with their crappy games that they think it's amazing and they think it's going to take the world by storm and become, an instant classic. Yeah. And it's like, that's not going to happen. And people need to know that. It's good to make games, even if they're crappy. It's great to make games. But you gotta know when it gets to the level that it is something that the public wants.
Yeah.
Rather than just a casual by-myself project that I never show anybody. Because there's a difference between those games, and it sucks to see the people on Greenlight who put their games out there that are terrible-looking games, but they're so proud of it, and they're so happy that they got it done. And it's like, good, you should be proud. You finished something. However...
Go make it better.
However, your hopes are too high here, and those are going to be the same people who spend $100 to get it on Steam and then realize that it was a big mistake.
Yeah.
And they're going to get all this negative feedback from people who buy their game and hate it, that it's just going to destroy them. And I mean, it's good to dream.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody's dreams to be crushed because they spent $100 to get their game out there when it wasn't ready. But I feel like that's going to happen.
So I always have like a pit in the bottom of my stomach when you see a Steam game with the overwhelmingly negative reviews. And you're like, oh.
Because nobody deserves that. Yeah, it's depressing.
Because, for every bad thing that a game has, if there's a mechanic that doesn't work well or something, it's got something that's done really well. And so to just go in and just say, no, it's all horrible, it's just depressing.
People have high standards. Actually, there are so many people that make games.
I have seen a game to where the reviews were so low. You know how, Steam's algorithm and stuff puts, discounts on really, really crappy games and makes it to where, they try to sell a little bit more of them by making them super dirt cheap?
No,
okay.
But okay.
I don't know.
Basically, whenever you see, really low quality games, they're usually pretty cheap and there's a reason for it, is what I'm going to say.
They want people to buy it. I see that a lot, actually.
So, the worst one I found was one that had, just nothing but thumbs down. Nothing but thumbs down. And when it came to the Steam, it was 226% off.
Wow.
The balance The balance said negative $2.51.
Oh my god.
What?
Good job, Steam.
And I was just
I've
like,
seen negative numbers before.
so I was like, so you're telling me that if I buy this game, you're going to pay me to
me.
download it?
I've also seen Steam glitch where it's like Team Fortress 2 only like $2, and it's like, no, that game is free. What are you talking about? And then you click on it, it's some kind of like package deal or a higher edition or something.
Yeah.
So it's the price is referencing something else, but it's on a free game, so it looks fun.
Yeah.
So Steam has a couple of
Just
issues
does
like
funny
that. But
All right.
yeah, I feel like people are brutal. People are just brutal, and
Especially
I mean, like,
when it comes to games. People want
Yeah.
good, and that's all they
Well,
want.
that's part of our major, and like we're required to take like traditional game dev and those kinds of things.
yeah.
And those games are classes are specifically designed to weed the gamers out of the game developers.
Yes, because you get a taste of what it's like to actually make a game.
Yeah.
And it's
And
like...
it's different. It's not the
It's
same
true.
as
I love
loving
it.
video games.
Oh,
It's
I'm
not
currently
the
in the
same.
middle of it, and it's like...
I'm in the middle of my own personal project because I already finished those classes. So I'm working on my own thing, but I have been wanting to do it for a long time, and I never did until I took those classes. And now I'm just like,
See,
I have a
now
craving.
you have a glimpse into how to do it. And before you take those classes, you're like, I have no clue how to do any of this stuff in real time and actually put these things into motion. And that,
Because it's everybody knows that making games is different, but you don't realize how different until you start to do it.
Yeah.
And it can be a good thing for a lot of people, but it also can be a pretty bad thing for a lot of people too. So you have to be really dedicated.
That's why I really actually like what Star Citizen did in Robert Industries. They'll put out little monthly report videos.
Oh, yeah.
To where one of the things that they cover is called the bug smashing series. To where you literally get to go into their design stuff, and when they run into glitch problems and stuff, they'll tell you how they went in and fixed them. And it gives you a little bit of a thing to where, and they have to do this because billions of dollars were put into this game and it hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
So in order to keep people saying okay, yeah, we are coming out with this game, they put out with monthly reports.
I still see a lot of people say it'll never come
yeah.
out.
There's a lot of fake news and Onion articles going it's been officially canceled, demand your refund. And it's just no, they're still putting out YouTube videos. It's still coming. It may be 5 years from now, but it's still coming.
Ambitious game, but it looks like it would be really. It looks like it could be really good if they did it the way they say they are. So we'll see. But
if they did what they said.
But it is nice to get that little window and stuff, especially if you are an up and coming game developer, to where you can look to see what a project of that magnitude, all the different problems that you have to do, because in a game that you make in traditional game development, it's going to be maybe a couple thousand lines.
I thought that my bug where my snake wouldn't wiggle right was annoying.
But then you get into the bugs that they had, one of the bugs that I remember they ended up having and stuff was where they had this thing to where it was the IC, which was this little event checker that they ended up having in their universe and stuff. And if a enemy somewhere was spotted on someone's radar, it would have to go through an event checklist and notify everything. Wow. And there was multiple systems that were checking the same thing because they kept on relying on this IC object. So they had to go through and they had to update the entire game library to compensate for this bug. But at the same time, they had to do that because they had
poor planning.
Because they had a building model, one that people were playing on. They had to keep the old one and make some adjustments to keep the game from breaking, as well as building a new one and then transitioning them seamlessly in a patch. Whoa. And I'm just I am so glad I don't have to do that.
Yeah. That's a lot.
And that's the kind of blood, sweat, tears, and effort that you need.
On all of the weird bugs we've come across in our
We should have an episode on that.
What would be awesome though is if you could remember all of those bugs. I can't remember half the bugs.
You'd have to go. I'd have to go back, but there's some of them just stick with you.
Oh yeah.
And you're just how could I have been so stupid?
Okay, well we've gone a little bit off track, but I think this is about time for us to wrap it up.
Yeah.
So with that,
I think that's everything. So let us know what your thoughts are on Steam Directs being the replacement for Steam Greenlight. how you think it's gonna go because there's a lot of speculation going on. I mean, I guess it already started for you, but we're waiting 4 more days for it to happen.
Let us know what happened and what you thought about what happened.
Yeah.
And
if you're a developer, let us know, especially, you know, what is your plan for the future? Hopefully. Are you going to continue pushing on direct? Are you going to try to publish across as many platforms as possible? Or are you just going to go somewhere else?
Yeah.
Kickstarter's always looking for
Let us know your approach. Oh, they always are, but they're starting to... Yeah. Kickstarter's not as great for raising money for video games anymore. Yeah. People got tired of getting screwed.
All right. Until next week.
Geek out.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the Geekwave. This is your resident otaku Lee, and if you want to watch more of our videos, just go right over here. Or you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter, possibly also over here. But with that, thanks for listening to the Geekwave, guys. Geek out.